Jagopi jana vallabha girivaradhari. Gopi jana vallabha girivaradhari. Jasodanandana braja jana ranjana. Yasodanandana braja jana ranjana. Yamunatira vanachari. Yamunatira vanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Light. Jaya Radha Krishna Chandra Radha Krishna Chandra Radha Krishna Chandra Radha Krishna Chandra Jaya Nida Gauranga Jaya Nida Gauranga Nida Gauranga Jaya Nida Gauranga Jaya Bhilai Shima Jaya Bhilai Shima Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Jai Om Vishnupada Paramahamsa Parivrajakaacharya Ashtottara He Shivan Grace Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Ananta Koti Vaishnavrinda Ki Jai Grantara Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Narayanam Namaskritya Naranjaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tado Jayamudiraye Nashta Prayesha Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Tama Shloke Bhakti Bhavati Naistiki. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 3rd Canto, chapter number 14, text number 30. Maitreya Uvacha Saivam Samvidhite Bhartra Saivam Samvidhite Bhartra Saivam Samvidhite Bhartra Mamatha Manmatha Unmatitha Indriya Manmato Unmitita Indriya मन्मतो उन्मितेन्द्रियः मन्मथ उन्मितेन्द्रियः जग्राह वासो ब्रह्मसृषेः जग्राह वासो ब्रह्मर्षरे ब्रह्मर्षेर् जग्राह वासो ब्रह्मश्रेर् वृषालीवा गतत्रापा वृषलीवा गतत्रापा मैत्रेय उवाच शैवं संविधि भर्त्रा मन्मथ उन्मिथेन्द्रियः जग्राह वासो ब्रह्मर्षे वशलेवा गतात्रापा मैत्रेय उवाच शैवं संविधिते भर्त्रा मन्मथ उन्मिथेन्द्रियः जग्राह वसो ब्रह्मर्षे वृषलेवा गतत्रापा मैत्रेय उवाच शैवं संविधिते भर्त्रा मन्मथ उन्मिथेन्द्रिया जग्राह वासो ब्रह्मश्रे वृषलेवा गतत्रापा मैत्रेय उवाच शैवं संविधिते भर्त्रा मन्मथ उन्मिथेन्द्रिया जग्राह वासो ब्रह्मर्षे वृषलीवा गतत्रपा मैत्रेय उवाच एवं संविदिते भर्त्रा ब्रह्मतो नितेन्द्रिया जग्राह वासो ब्रह्मश्रे वृषलीवा गतत्रपा मैत्रेय उवाच शैवं संविदिते भर्त्रा मन्मतोन्मिथेन्द्रियः जग्राह वासो ब्रह्मर्षे वृषलीवा गतत्रपा एयवच शैवं संविधि भर्त्रा मन्मथ उन्मिथेन्द्रियः जग्राह वासो ब्रह्मर्षे वृषलीवा गतत्रपा मैत्रेय उवाच शैवं संविदिते भर्त्रा मन्मथ उन्मिथेन्द्रियः जग्राह वासो ब्रह्मर्षे वृषलीवा गतत्रपा. Word meaning. Maitreya Vacha. Maitreya said, Sa she. Evam, thus. Samvidite, in spite of being informed. Bhartra, by her husband. Manmatha, by Cupid. Unmihita, Unmatitha, being pressed. Indriya, senses. Jagraha, caught hold of. Vraj, Vasaha, clothing. Brahmarshehe, of the great Brahmana, of the great Brahmana sage. Rushali, public prostitute. Iva, like. Gatatrapa, without shame. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Translation. Maitreya said, Diti was thus informed by her husband, but she was pressed by Cupid for sexual satisfaction. She caught hold of the clothing of the great Brahmana sage, just like a shameless public prostitute. Translation with repetition. Maitreya said, Diti was thus informed by her husband, but she was pressed by Cupid for sexual satisfaction. She caught hold of the clothing of the great Brahmana sage, just like a shameless public prostitute. Purport. The difference between married wife and a public prostitute is that one is restrained in sex life by the rules and regulation of the scripture, whereas the other is unrestricted in sex life and is conducted solely by the strong sex urge. Although very enlightened, Kashyapa, the great sage, became a victim of his prostitute wife. Such is a strong force of material energy. Thus in Bhaktivedanta purport. Om Ajnanatimirandusya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshunmilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshraya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namini. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Mricharini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Bhavshati Deshadarini. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Here Maitreya Muni is speaking as a conversation between Vidura and Maitreya. Vidura inquired from Maitreya Muni about why Hiranyaksha stopped Varahadev, when the misplaced earthly planet Bhumi to the place. Why Hiranyaksha is stopped and there is fight between Varaha and Hiranyaksha, that what in the previous chapter discussed, and Varaha killed the Hiranyaksha. So reply to that, Maitreya Muni is speaking about how Diti pregnanted by Kashyapa, who is her husband, in the evening, which is not actually very auspicious time. So Maitreya Muni explained about what the conversation between Kashyapa and his wife Diti. Diti was very lustful. The purpose is that because she was not having the children, and her co-sisters were having children. So Diti was demanding for sex with the husband to beget a child. The time was in the evening. All the Maitreya Muni able to see the ghosts are moving around. And Maitreya Muni also saw that the Lord Shiva, who is called the leader of the ghost, Bhutanath, and Kashyapa Muni actually don't want to indulge in sexual activity because time is not auspicious. So Kashyapa has given many reasons, and he also gives because Shiva is have the eye like moon and sun are the eye of Shiva, and fire, the third eye. So Shiva is able to see everything. So this sex indulgence will be seen by Lord Shiva. So Lord Shiva is related to Diti. So Kashyapa say this is not right time. So somehow Kashyapa wants to make her not have sex with that particular time. So next what happened, Maitreya say, after Maitreya Muni, Kashyapa is sufficiently taught her, but still she is not she is not obeying the Kashyapa's explanation. So Maitreya is telling here, Saivam Samadite Batra Manmata Unmitendriya Jagraha Vaso Brahmarshe Rushaliva Katatrapa. Diti was thus informed by her husband, but she was pressed by Cupid for sexual satisfaction. She caught hold of the clothing of a great Brahmana sage, just like a shameless public prostitute. Here, Maitreya Muni is comparing the act of Diti is like a public prostitute. Even though actually Diti is the wife of Kashyapa Muni. Prabhupada say, difference between a married wife and a public prostitute is that one is restricted sex life by rules and regulations of the scriptures. She is a wife, that doesn't mean that okay, she can have a sex intercourse at any time and every time. So even the married life also, there is a regulated sex based on the scriptures. And irregulated sex is comparing here, even the married life. This is a prostitute. Shri Radha Krishna Shishadai Gauri Srila Prabhupada ki. Now, Kashyapa, so one may think, the Kashyapa is so learned and Brahmana. But how he is influenced by the lust desire? And lust is such a powerful thing. Lust is also Maya energy of the Lord. And here say, Gatatrapa. One is lust is overpowered. One loses shyness. Lust is so powerful. So one is lust in India, you don't see anything other than the lustful activity. It's so forceful. And Kashyapa is also attracted here, even though he's great sage. He learned all the Shastras. He followed the rules and regulations of the Shastras. And still, Kashyapa Muni is unable to control and is entangled. Because earlier, Maitreya Muni is telling that Kashyapa also have desire to have sex. That what to understand is, in spite of following the rules regulation, in spite of reading books, lot of knowledge, in spite of so many examples heard by, is very difficult to control the force of lust desire. We can't say that, okay, I am in secured place in Brahmachari ashram, that the temple regulated services, regulated, everything is very regulated, so that I am very safe. Here the example, Kashyapa Muni is so austere and very learned, and one of the Prajapati. And such person not able to control, will be influenced. Then how we can, then we are the same. Okay, just following the rules and regulations. Now, we cannot say that, okay, only just following the rules and regulations, yes, this helps, I will be safe. But the very important is, only one can see the example. Haridas Thakur, influenced by a prostitute. And Haridas Thakur is not influenced by. He is very strong. He is not indulgent. Now, what is the difference between Haridas Thakur, who is a prostitute, is approaching, and he is not inclined to have sex? But here, the Kashyapa Muni, when his wife is forcing him and he is desiring. Now, because the Haridas Thakur is engaged in devotional service, this is the quality of Haridas Thakur. So, Kashyapa Muni is not a devotee, he is a yogi. So, even yogis have so many austerities performing, and that austerity also fail when lust is overpowered. But only person who can conquer the force of the sex is one completely engaged in the Krishna consciousness. One wants to save, one engage in Krishna consciousness. Then only will be saved. So, thing is here, the desire is always there. We cannot say that okay, desires will stop. As far as mind is active, mind will produce variety of desires. Now you cannot say that okay, one day I'll be desireless. Now only thing is okay, how to devotile those desires in the Krishna service. Then otherwise, okay, engaging those same desires in the sense gratification, in the service of the Maya. If we engage desires in the service of the Maya or self-enjoyment, that is actually the entanglement. And very important, even Prabhupada say, everything is spiritual. When it is spiritual, everything is utilized in the service of the Lord, then it is a spiritual. In one place, Prabhupada says, even the beautiful woman can utilize it in the Krishna service. So, one side, okay, I can enjoy the beautiful woman. Another side, so same beautiful woman can engage in the service of the Krishna. Because everything for the satisfaction of the Lord Krishna. So that means our all desires is properly placed. Then the desires, okay, misplaced. Sometimes desires are unplaced. The desires is rightly placed. There are two ways can you apply our desires. Rightly placed means whose property you engage in that. Unplaced means okay. Misplaced means okay, I can enjoy. I am enjoy the material, enjoy the Maya. Then he'll be entangled in the Maya. And once he entangled the Maya, then he loses his intelligence. Same example is here given. When Diti is overpowered by the lusty desires, she acted like a prostitute. He caught hold of the cloth of Brahmana sage, the Kashyapa. Generally, this kind of behavior is a prostitute behavior, because a prostitute not have any shyness. Even though she is the wife of, why here Prabhupada say, although very enlightened Kashyapa, the great sage, become a victim of prostitute wife, such is the strong force of the material energy. The material energy is so strong, Kashyapa will be entangled. So, lust is so powerful. Now, one should not play with the lust. Okay, I am the safe, I am the strong. We getting many examples from the Shastras. Shaubhari Muni is performing austerity in the water. so that there is no any distraction. And just you saw the two fishes are mating, and Shaubari Muni get affected. Yes, lust desire is awakened. He came out from the austere position and look for the get married. So one should not look at the lust is very easy to conquer. Lust can conquer everyone. Madana you have to keep it. Manmatha. So who can illuse the Madana? Krishna can illuse the Madana. Madana Mohana. That's the reason Krishna's name is Madana Mohana. Krishna can illuse the Madana. Then one want to conquer the Madana, lust desire. One should engage in the service of the Lord, who is the Madana Mohana. So, it is not by my strength I can conquer the lusty desires. If we engage in the Krishna's service, and Krishna will conquer the Madana, Cupid. It not we can conquer. So, very good example for how the Maitreya Muni, even though is very learned, very austere, control over the senses, did lot of tapasya. With all these things, and when his own wife approaching him is uncontrollable. Similarly, any aspiring devotee, opportunity of, so Krishna gives a good example how a devotee should behave. One is engaged in Krishna conscious activities, but there is a danger. One should protect himself. How to protect? Always think of Krishna. Because Krishna is the conqueror of lusty desires. All other senses we can desires we can control. The desire and the enjoyment of eating, enjoyment of name, fame, we cannot conquer. But lust is, because the natural, this body is designed in that way, there is a natural attraction for the sex. So, one side, by following the regulatory principles, that is not sufficient. So, one also properly engage in Krishna conscious activities by following the order of the spiritual master. Engage once all the senses. So that was the duty of a spiritual master. Spiritual master guide the disciple. How can he engage his senses in the service of the Lord? So even in the devotee's life also happens. We are also engaged in all material activities. So we have to deal with the people. We have to go to the meet even the Matajis, or we also given the luxuries. Okay, can travel in a car. Other facilities are given. Now the thing is, okay, how I can utilize those facilities for my own enjoyment, or all those facilities was given is engaged in the service of the Lord. So when we think that, okay, this is a Krishna's property, I'll engage all this property in the Krishna's service, then we will be always safe. When you see that I am also can enjoy to some extent, then we will be entangled in the Maya. Maya is the servant of the Lord. If you become the servant of the Lord, Maya cannot act upon. Because Maya will listen to the Krishna's word. So, very good example of Kashyapa Muni. Okay, I'll stop here. Srimad Bhagavatam ki